Welcome to the 5-0 podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Carl,
Hey, how's it going?
tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Carl Sturt, and I have been retired now for a couple years. I was a little over 20 years in law enforcement before I retired, so doing pretty good. Obviously, I've been married. Well, I am married. I'm sorry, not being.
Yeah, you better watch that.
Yeah. So got a couple kids. You know, they're all grown now, so I'm retired and trying to enjoy life.
Awesome. So Carl was involved in a officer-involved shooting a while back, and we're here to kind of talk about some of his experiences and everything he went through during that incident. So Carl, you want to kind of take us on that particular date and how it all unfolded, how you felt, what was kind of the aftermath of that?
Sure. Let's just jump right into it. Huh?
Let's
no
do it.
warming me up. No.
Yeah, there's no
butter up.
There's no lube on this show.
Yeah, no. Well, hey, that goes
Vaseline.
without
Vaseline.
saying with police work.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
They
Good
don't
segue.
supply the lube when you go through the academy.
Yes.
So that was like you said a little while ago. Now it was in the winter months, so it was pretty cold out. I'd actually was on my way home from work. I'd been cut out early because I had court the next day, and it was actually my Friday too. And so I went, and the CO for the night said, "Hey, you can get out of here." So I'm like, "All right, cool." Because I had court later that day, I also wore my uniform home too. So I was actually in my full uniform with a coat on over the top of it.
Is this evening, night?
It was, well, I worked midnights for the first half of my career was mostly on midnights because that's what happens when you're a junior guy. Plus, actually, it worked best for me.
Okay.
So it was about, I want to say 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't really remember the exact time. So I was on my way home. Now you made me think of another thing with, I don't know if we want to go into that aspect of things, but I was on my way home, the regular way I go home every single day, okay? Oh, I won't say every day, but that was the way I went home, even though I was accused of going that way home to meet up with. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. We could get to that after the show.
Yeah.
So, on my way home, and then going down this road. It's a pretty wide, straight road. And as I'm going down in the distance, a few blocks away, I saw some people on the right. And I'm thinking to myself, something don't look right there in the way they had moved into the street, off of the street. And I'm like, oh, great. So I just kept on pulling up or driving as I was going home. And as I got closer, one of the two first subjects I saw jumped out in front of the car and waving her arms. It was a female.
Okay.
And I had to actually put on my brakes and swerve out the way so I wouldn't hit her.
But let me interject, Carl. Are they waving to stop you or to ask you what were their intentions?
Well, I had no idea, but it looked more like they were wanting help because
Okay.
she was going like this.
Okay.
You know? And as I went past them, that's when I saw maybe 50 to 100 feet behind them was a guy. There was a man behind them following along.
Gotcha.
So, being a good police officer, I don't stop right next to the persons. I actually pulled by about a block.
Tactics, but good
Yeah,
tactics.
and I span around in the road, and actually now was facing back the other way. And as I was getting out, I'd reach, I didn't have my radio, so I was turning that back on. And the guy, though, had started towards me. He was about a half a block away, started coming towards me, had his hand in his waistband. Instantly, I had thrown my coat open because I was getting to the radio and I wanted access to my tools. And that's when I first off yelled at him, "Hey, this is where we're adults here, right? Get the fuck on my car!" And I could see a recognition in his the way I spoke to him that he realized, oh fuck,
It's the police.
it's a cop here because nobody's telling me to do that but a cop.
Right.
And then he may have seen it. I don't know. And I guess we'll never know. So I told him, I ordered him to come over to the car, but he didn't comply. I had called out on the radio just real quick that I don't know what it was, flagged down by a female over the radio at blah 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 blah. That way you won't have the blahs, the beeps, because if I had said the address, they would have bleeped it out later in the editing. So then he started running. As he turned, so this is the difficult part though, because trying to show you sitting down in a couch isn't quite right. Maybe I will have to get up.
You can show us, but let me ask you this question real quick. As a police officer, when you're off duty, are we responsible to stop for, again, you're off, you're going home, are you responsible to stop and render aid?
Absolutely. When we take our oath, we're 24 hours a day.
That's right.
Yes.
And granted, technically, I was still on the clock.
Hey,
But that's neither here nor there. I'm a person that would stop. I had other people afterwards say, "Why did you stop? Why didn't you just keep going?"
well,
You've been flagged
it's,
down.
it's let everybody know that even when you are an officer, and you're not really off. You're an officer 24/7.
Yeah, there you go.
So his response was absolutely 100% correct. So just to let everybody know that.
Hey, bro, how many times did you shoot him?
We didn't even get to that part yet.
All right,
Okay.
let's
All
go.
right. So you know what? Now you're making me think, because I swear it was I won't swear. It was 4 times.
4 times.
I
Okay.
discharged my firearms 4 times.
How many times did you connect?
4 times.
4 times. Okay.
Okay.
I per our training, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Close
trained
range.
to-
Close range.
Yeah, it was approximately about 10 feet.
Let me ask you this:
Okay.
when you seen him coming up, as everything's unfolding, you had the females there, you're giving them orders. What's going through your mind at that moment?
So the 2 females were still, now they were back a little bit, and I don't know if they'd even were hanging around at that point, because they, I was now dealing with what was in front of me. The, what went through my mind was it's just some sort of a domestic. You know, there's some sort of domestic going on here, probably some sort of bullshit, I mean, no big deal with it as I would.
Yes.
When he came at me with his hand in his waistband, I didn't instantly say gun, because some of them are act tough and put their hands there, and it may or may not be.
Yeah.
But when his first motion was as he turned, he pulled his arm up over his shoulder and looked back at me and
So he
pointed at
His
he
back-
turned around with his back towards
Towards
you,
you.
and then he pulled the gun out and then aimed
as
it
he
at you.
started
Gotcha.
running away.
Okay.
Understood.
At that point, I so here's I ducked down a bit and started to draw out my weapon at that point,
Right.
and it actually slipped out of my hand as I was drawing it, and I caught it, or
Wow.
I slapped it against my leg.
Wow.
Wearing cargo pants,
Wow.
I had my cell phone in there, but I slapped it so hard, I actually broke my cell phone and bruised my leg.
Wow.
Ooh.
And
Wow.
then I kept running. So I chased him now around some buildings and stuff. And now he didn't shoot at me when the gun didn't go off.
So when he turned around at that moment, he didn't shoot at you.
No, I didn't. So now hindsight, and we can. I don't.
Yeah.
So right now though, again, now I'm believing he's got a firearm because of the fact that hand waved.
So he didn't shoot at you, and you
Pointed
didn't shoot
back.
at him, and then you chased him.
And at no point did I ever see a gun.
Right.
So I started chasing. Then we went around the back of a building, and as I come around the edge where he started to make a turn to go back around, there's a U-shaped building. Yet he had slipped and was leaning up against the fence. And as he pushed off of the fence to end up straight, he turned around and said, "I'm gonna," and at that point pointed at me again. I just discharged.
He said, "I'm gonna."
Yeah, that's about all he got out of it. Because
Gotcha.
at that point now, I feared for my life, and
Absolutely.
I took
Yeah.
appropriate action. Discharged my firearm. First couple were, it was all center mass, and he started to rotate, and I fired 4 rounds pretty in succession. None of them hit him in his back. 1 or 2 may have hit as he's going around in his side, but none of them were in his back. Because obviously some people say, "Oh, you shot him." No.
So do you know if he did
I
he die
fired-
instantaneously or?
Yes.
Okay.
I fired enough, to stop the threat. He actually turned and started to move. He managed to take a step or two. I guess one of the first couple rounds severed arteries by his heart.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So he didn't make it too far.
Wow.
When did you first know that he had a firearm?
So when the first officer showed up,
Mhm.
I maintained cover on him. I didn't render aid at that point because I knew others were coming, and
Okay.
I wasn't sure. So I'm, don't want him to playing possum on me.
All right.
So, and he was laying on his stomach kind of, so I couldn't see. And then the first officer showed up and rolled him to the side to place him in custody. Oh, actually, he took his hands out from under the, because they were kind of on him, and that's when he found the gun in his hand.
And at that time, how long had you been on the force? At that time.
I've been a policeman for 6, 7 years,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
So after that incident, how did you feel? Like immediately afterwards. So I know the incident happened. It's kind of like a oh shit moment. You're chasing him. It goes down. How do you feel immediately afterwards? Was it there an adrenaline dump? Was it like you're just exhausted mentally? Were you like, damn, what comes next? What all these things are going through your mind? Take us through that.
So, some people handle their cognitive reasoning is different than others. So I'm not saying that other people would act like me. So when the supervisor got there, for instance, and stuff, he's like, I said, dude, yeah, gave him my firearm. I'm like, you need to take this. I need to go to the hospital.
So the supervisor came on scene, and you were kind of directing him.
Oh, I flat out
and
told
his job as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I flat
Wow.
because he was a newer supervisor, and he was probably a little, oh my God, what am
Little
I going to
shaken,
do with
little
this?
shaken,
Well, I don't know
yeah.
about he was shaking. It was more a case of, all right,
What's
what do I do
next?
now?
Yeah.
You know?
He's trying to go to A to Z.
Yeah.
He hasn't got to where you're at yet.
And I was doing what I needed to do to protect
Right.
myself. So,
Right.
I mean, I
Absolutely.
knew I was clean, so I need to go to
Yeah.
do my blood and urine. I need to go do my drop,
Yes.
So, I'm like, he go, now, apparently dispatch might have been on the phone, if I remember right, with one of the girls. And they thought that I might have been shot. I'm not
Oh, wow.
100%
Wow.
sure.
Wow.
So dispatch were kind of like, weren't sure who was what. And that's what I found out afterwards. They're like, "What?" And I'm like, I was pretty clear and concise on the radio once I said shots fired, he's down, stop paramedics, all of that good stuff. And within, it was a minute or so that people were there to do
Sure.
their thing,
Sure.
other officers. So it wasn't like,
But did it? Okay, you said they were there in minutes.
no,
'cause-
no, no, I'm now, okay, I'm sorry. Jumped the gun here.
all right.
I forgot the question where you were at, how I felt.
Yeah.
So at that point, because I had not physically seen a gun, I'm stressing.
Okay.
And especially with the environment that we're in.
Yes.
And this was back before really it broke, things capped off.
Right.
So it wasn't, but I'm like, okay. And I was telling myself, I'm going to tell you right now, please be a gun, please be a gun, please be a gun. And when the officer flipped him over, there was a gun. So there was a huge relief right then and
Yeah,
there
yeah.
for me. And
Yeah.
I was pretty pumped at the time from adrenaline and stuff like that. Now, throughout the whole incident from start to finish, well, once it escalated that high, more so when he pointed at me as he started running away, because at that point I think my mind had hit this guy's serious.
Yeah.
My mind actually worked in two different levels.
How so?
My there was I think I don't know what you want to call it, the everyday.
You got the fight or flight, and then you got the law enforcement side. 'Cause you got, well, put it this way, you got a civilian side of us, right, that wants to operate outside our job. And then we got okay, I'm on the job, and that side of us wants to work.
Yeah, I think. Go
what
ahead,
I was-
let you explain it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what I was trying to say was, there was no doubt in my mind what I was doing.
Okay.
And that I was chasing this guy, I'm going to do what I had to do.
Okay.
That wasn't a problem. It was, one part of my mind was saying, I'm going home today. And that was the part of my mind that was really in the
Yes.
forefront.
Yes.
But because of training and knowledge and everything else in the other part of my mind, it was doing its own thing.
Yes.
And it was what was controlling my body. It told me what to do. It controlled and it textbook, really.
Yes.
So Carl, quick question. So when you first initiate somewhat of a contact with him, and he put his hand like in his waistband, as a cop, we know if you put your hand there, most likely there's for a gun. So then he took off, and you chased him. That's just police instinct. Now, when you got around the building, you said he put his arm like he's gonna again. You didn't see.
So it was slightly different
Uh-huh.
positioning. He didn't do it over his shoulder. He actually pushed off the fence and completely turned towards me. And so now we're facing like we are right now, and probably about this far apart.
But at that point, you did see the gun.
No.
Okay.
He had something in his hand,
Right.
but I couldn't tell you
Okay.
to this day what it was.
Yeah.
And the reason being is it turned out to be, and actually when I was being interviewed by the detectives, they told me that after I had said, no, I didn't see the gun. They're like, I mean, I was honest. Did I fear for my life? Absolutely.
Yes.
But they said if you had told us you had seen the gun, we might have been questionable because it was a little 25. It was barely the
You barely
size.
see it out of his
You
hand.
wouldn't have seen it.
Right. Right.
So,
let me ask you
and it
this.
was dark and
And in
Okay.
retrospect, especially in that era, do you believe, and obviously I think you kind of answered this, if he didn't have a gun, if it was a cell phone or maybe a tool or something else, do you believe back then you would have been facing possible charges or termination or something of that nature? And that's debatable, right? Because
It is,
we've
because
all worked in that
it-
era, and
Yes.
we've all seen things that are kind of like,
so.
Yeah.
Go ahead, George.
We react to instinct, what we think. Remember, he didn't see it.
Yeah.
If he didn't react, he could have been shot.
No,
Exactly.
there's no doubt, and I'm not debating that. But what I'm saying is, and do you think all of us here? This question is for all of us. Back then, if that guy didn't have a gun, would he have
So,
faced any type of
but hang on. Here's the thing.
consequences?
So,
Go ahead. Go
per
ahead.
use of force, it
Yes.
says in there, right, that considered by a reasonable person,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
Not a
right.
police officer. It's
Right,
like
a reasonable person.
perceived, right?
Right.
So here's the thing, and this is what I've always said: your level of fear is different to your level of fear.
That's
It's
right.
different to your level.
Different
It's
perception.
different to mine.
Yeah.
Right.
So I had several factors before I got shot. Not before I got shot. Before I shot.
You shot him, yeah.
He, first off, he didn't. He had his hand in his waistband, walking towards me. I thought at that point maybe he's trying to rob me, whatever,
Right.
thinking it was a big scam. To start, when I was pulling over, I felt it was a domestic. But then once I started, he was coming towards me with his hand in his waist. Now but there's one, right?
Right.
Could I at that point pulled out my gun and pointed at him and said, "Get on the ground, show me your hands"? Yes, but it happened in seconds.
Seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Not
I,
even.
I think even.
But
let
hang
me
on.
answer the question. I think
Okay.
you would have been cleared, even if he didn't have a gun in that era.
And that I think I probably would have been.
Yeah.
But and where I was going to go with this is that's why I'm a big proponent to body cams, because the body cam would have showed
Yeah.
everything, and it would have
Yes.
also shown my restraint in not taking shots at him
The
as
first time.
he's
Yeah.
now pointing at me coming around the
So
corner.
essentially, he pointed the gun at you twice.
But And actually, the first time he did pull the trigger. So later on, after they did the full
Was it a
investigation,
misfire?
it jammed. So
Wow.
no one's
Wow.
ever accused most of these criminals as being rocket scientists. But most people know that you got to put the right size bullet in a gun. He had the wrong size bullets,
wow.
You said
Wow.
25 early.
and I think he had 20.
Well, thank God for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, when you
Well,
come to
yeah.
think about it,
Hey,
look
I'm
at
not
it.
so confident he would have hit nothing.
But
You never know.
No, and that's the point. Most
Yeah.
of the time they
You never
get lucky, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
where we get hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
So now at that point, though, if he had shot and the gun had gone off and actually fired, then he wouldn't have got too much further anyway.
Wow.
Because I would have then instantly returned fire.
Yes.
But at that point, I'm still not. So now, but this is where I was going with the reasonable person. Because trust me, you go to 90 or 100 people, after that point, most reasonable people are telling you, oh, I would have shot him at that point.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that
Yeah. Oh,
public
yeah.
that said. Now it all depends on how you
Sure.
phrase it to them, because there's always those
Yeah.
people that,
Well, you
oh no,
know-
I would have never
Well,
shot.
You never know until you're in those
Yeah.
circumstances,
Situation,
right?
right.
People talk all the shit
Yeah.
that they
Right.
want,
All
even
the
fellow
shit.
police officers. you
Right,
know?
and I just have I have more confidence than some other officers in their ability to shoot and their
Yes.
accuracy and so forth. So I can afford a little more restraint and so on. Some others may not.
Yeah.
And that's why, who is somebody to tell me what my level of fear is?
Right, right. Or
And
what
it-
you perceive. Let me
Right.
ask you this. After the incident, how do you feel the agency handled it? Take us through the internal affairs investigation. Take
Okay.
us through that first. And then
So-
we can talk about how the agency handled it.
So now I found out details pretty quickly that
Keep going.
outside agency
Yeah.
did the investigation.
Yeah, yeah.
When they handle the investigation, it'll take them a little bit to get together all the paperwork, blah, blah, blah. But when I was done with my interview, which wasn't done that night, even though I wanted to do it. but-
Right.
so they won't do
Shouldn't.
it because a lot of me personally, though, I am a different person than most people.
Okay.
So me, I wrote my statement.
So they wanted to give you a little time to kind
should.
of.
Plus, they
Right,
want.
you should.
Don't forget, though, they're also being a little shady with that because they want to give you a little time so that they can conclude their investigation.
Gather the
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
So
And
and
you're
they
right.
have more
So that would
info.
give them whether it becomes an investigation or just an interrogation, possibly.
Yes.
Right? The line of
so
questioning. I
they're
gotcha.
wanting to find out.
Which kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
they
Well,
have
yeah.
ammunition. They don't
Yeah.
want to come. They
Yeah.
want to know what questions to ask me.
Yeah, and they don't
So-
want to have to keep interviewing you, right? You know. So.
Exactly. I'm not going to go back in for a second.
Right, right, right.
So when I did that, it was a couple days later, and as I was leaving, the investigator said, as long as actually it was before the interview, as long as you ain't saying anything stupid, everything looks good. I mean, it had all they had found. So that's when I said, now I didn't know before my interview or anything about and this is, I knew he had attempted to shoot at me was because they recovered a live round in the alley that
He
he
ejected out.
ejected
Wow.
and
That's-
reloaded
wow.
it. But the next, I did ask, and I never did find out whether or not the gun would have fired the next round.
Wow.
So I don't know if he tried again or
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
get the opportunity because I reacted,
Yes.
or I never did find.
Now, let me ask you this though. I know you said you're kind of a different mentality than most. How do you feel knowing that this guy probably could have ended your life instantaneously if it were not for that gun to have jammed? Was that like a oh shit moment, or like a kind of something that kind of stayed in your mind, or you had an adrenaline dump after that? I mean, talk to
Kind
me.
of like, do you have PTSD after the fact?
Well, obviously, he
Does
probably-
it bother
Well,
you?
We all got
So-
PTSD here.
I mean, we
So,
all.
I'm gonna. So when I was first
Your life could have ended at that moment.
You're correct. Now, when I did a first psych I took for a department, wasn't the one I was with when this occurred, but
Yeah.
in there, I pretty much started the conversation. Oh yeah, we're here to find out whether if I'm crazy enough to do the job.
Right.
Not
Yes.
am I crazy, or you need to be crazy to do this job.
Yes.
That's a good point.
That-
So-
he's right. He's right.
It takes a wolf to catch a,
A wolf.
Yeah,
Ow!
the sheep would just run away.
We are a protector of men.
So how do you feel the agency handled the aftermath of everything?
So when after it all gone through, I was placed on administrative leave as standard.
Yes.
Administrative leave with pay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get interviewed by the department though.
Mm-hmm.
So for their own to find out.
But to be outside the agency, in those type of situations, they want to do everything outside the agency, so they don't seem like they're protecting.
They want to be
their
above
own.
board.
Correct.
Right.
No. But they are going to do that for their own internal in
Right.
case to make sure whether or not
Protocol violations.
bingo. So
Yes.
It's for local, policy violations.
Exactly.
So that if they
Exactly.
felt like they want to, but I'd already been cleared by
Right.
Lake
That's
County
right,
by.
okay.
It
Right.
was way after, right? Okay. So, but what I was paranoid about at that point, because I'd already been screwed over by administration for other
Yes.
things,
Yes.
that I had more stress and fear about losing my job and stuff like that
Mhm.
than I did with anything involving the shooting.
Wow.
No.
The department put more stress on me
Wow.
with the way they handled
So
it.
you have more stress and anxiety from the way the agency handled it as opposed to your life being on the line
100%.
at that moment.
But,
Oh my
but you know what? I think that's par for the course, because I think that, and this is officers of the past that went through things, including yourself. You're more worried about what is is the agency actually going to back me,
Yeah.
or are they going to hang me out to dry?
That's a
Right.
great point.
Plus,
And what's going on now though, you can be involved in a justified shooting and deemed that it's justifiable, but yet the agency may still go after you for protocol violations and
Right.
fire you.
100%.
Yeah.
They
So-
could
so
back
you-
then.
So
That's
there's
what
no
I was-
there's no
But-
criminal negligence,
Right.
But we're still going to fire you.
But here's
Yeah.
the thing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes,
But-
it is.
Here's one thing I can say about Carl. There is, he knew the policy and procedures.
I'm
He
pretty
studied
well-
them. He studied them. He was
Yeah.
a guy that studied a lot of stuff. So I truly believe you knew exactly where you stood. Yeah, it's still stressful. No matter what we say, you're still stressed at that point.
I wasn't, again, I felt that I knew I did right.
Exactly.
But I know that the administration could have done me dirty
Right.
because it was best for them.
There's
And that, and
there's
the re-
area unknown.
Let's keep it real. If it's almost like a traffic stop, you could always find something wrong on every car, right?
Right.
So technically, if you look at all those protocols with a fine-tooth comb,
Yes.
if someone's trying to push the envelope on any incident,
Yes.
they could probably find something,
Still
right?
get
Let's
us.
face it.
Still get us, yeah.
Yeah.
and the reason why I felt that way was I said, okay, I'm good to go back to work. And this was a couple weeks after. You want me to someone taking a shower? Just to let you know that now I'm a plumber here, but it doesn't. That pipe right there is the whole house. That goes out to the. So you could be telling them not to use the toilets upstairs, they're right above.
That is so good.
All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Yes.
Yeah. Whether you edit that out or not, I
We
think
will,
it's
we
a
will.
good part.
No,
I don't know.
no. We love it, man. We
All
love
right.
it.
But-
we
it's all
love
good.
it.
Yeah, I've always said I'm a jack of all trades, master in none. Anyway, but with
I
the
digress.
way, so after a couple weeks, I was kind of like, what's going on? What's going on? I knew
Yes.
the investigation had concluded. I've been told by friends that were
Right.
Now they may not have had the actual report from the task force at that point, but the task force had concluded their investigation, and I was cleared. They had told the department I was cleared. There was no charges. State's attorney, whatever they included, there will be no charges against me.
Did you feel relief at that point?
Yes and no. I mean, because I already knew it. I knew that
Right,
if
right.
everybody did their job, there wasn't a problem.
Gotcha.
But I've also had seen that you do your job at that so again, this goes back to my
Sure.
prior incident with that administration at the time, and where I had been done dirty, and
You was more fearful of the department itself screwing you over.
correct. When I was upset that they didn't put out any kind of a press release in a positive way defending me, which they didn't do anything. Their method of dealing with incidences
Not to
was
deal with
to
it.
do
Never
Not to,
nothing.
not to deal with it.
You're right.
And
And,
they-
Not to deal with it.
and hope it
and that's
goes away.
horrible. That is horrible
Yes.
because what happens is someone else will paint the narrative in the picture.
Right, but now now let's fill in a little more though. So when the Major Crimes did the investigation, they concluded that what actually went on was those two girls had been at a party. The guy that was there was notoriously a shithead. I didn't know him personally, but he was a well-known.
The guy you shot.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's put it this way: he had 18 felony convictions,
Wow.
and actually was actively being investigated for molesting his son by another agency. But so he was a great guy, and these girls apparently had been at the party where one of the girls he had interest in, and told her, or was trying to hook up with her. He had been kind of aggressive at the party, followed them out. And they knew he had a gun, and that's when they jumped in front of me because they were scared of him.
Yeah.
So once they found that out, I was so upset that the department didn't have my back, and actually to put positive press out there. But a simple statement: officer on his way home was involved in an incident where he stopped to help some citizens, some ladies, and fear for their lives.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yes.
this guy had things in his mind, but they didn't do that
Right.
because the department at the time was, we do nothing.
Yes.
Okay,
So the
That's so
only
true.
press that came out, there was a statement like a week or so after the incident, and this was before it was white officer killed young black man. That was
Wow.
by a pastor in
I
in
remember that.
neighboring town.
Wow.
But that wasn't the press release came out, not a press release, a press.
That was the new.
So
that
let
was
me,
in the news.
let me throw you some. Well, what was in the newspaper
Yeah.
was because the person that was running for mayor against the current mayor
Yes.
did a interview with the reporter,
Yes.
and he said, "Well, why have we not heard anything about this shooting? Nothing, not a statement, nothing." This was a few weeks after now because it was election time. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So they didn't put out, and I think that again, the department, instead of trying to push a positive spin, they
Right.
just did nothing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they let the narrative go where it did. He made this, the question to the reporter was, so why have they not put anything out? What are they trying to cover up? So yes, that made me feel bad.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because I'm here doing my job. My department doesn't have my back. They can say whatever they want. Bottom line is they weren't
Right.
thinking about anything other than how is this going to affect me?
Yeah. Yeah. Or we want this to go away.
Yeah, I wasn't offered, by the way, anything in regards to therapy or nothing right after.
Oh wow.
So-
now, did you have any type of critical incident debrief?
We did. That was one of the first ones the department had ever had, and it was put on because the dispatchers wanted it. The dispatchers that were working that night, and actually brought my wife too because she was concerned and so on.
How did that go? And what do you think of
It
that?
went pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that people were able to
Right.
then voice and get some of the stresses out of them and do
But how was you at home after that? I mean, again,
I
a lot
got
of
my
times, a lot-
basement finished. I did
What?
stuff, but
How long were you off?
I want to say it was 3 months or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But after a couple weeks, I had told them I'm good to come back.
yeah.
I'm ready whenever you are. I know the Oh no. I just kept getting told, no. We want you to take as much time off as you need. No.
But your family was supportive of you,
My friends at the department.
Barbara, and your family.
Hey, let's put it this
Yes.
way. Even the
Well,
person we were
let me
talking
ask you
about.
this though. What So I get what you're saying, that they didn't really have your back. They didn't put nothing out. But you're telling me in the same breath that they're telling you take as much time as you need. How did that? You know,
Because it wasn't because
they didn't want you back?
They
or-
didn't want to give out a yes. No. It wasn't that they didn't want me back. It was a case of we don't know where this is going yet as far as
So we'd rather
public.
have you stay at home.
bingo.
Now, would you have felt better if they would have just been honest with you and said, look, Carl, you know, it's kind of a shit show. We want you to stay home for a while, and then we'll call you when everything dies down.
But what part of it, if they had actually told me the truth of it's election going on, we don't really know
There you
how
go.
to handle this. We
Yes.
don't really know.
Would you have felt better if
No,
they told
well,
you the
I
truth?
might have been felt better about being honest.
Yeah.
But at least, you know, like one of the incidences I told you with the current administration that did me dirty,
Right.
when if he had flat out told me, look, we've talked to the people involved and came to an agreement, sorry, what you're going to have to eat a day or whatever, we did it just for a settlement, we know that you did good, and being honest with me,
Right. You're
then I
right.
would have been fine with that. But would I have ultimately, if they had told me, look, no, because the thing is, with that shooting, I knew once I came back to work, I was good. If I
Yes.
didn't, until I came back,
You wasn't
I
good.
didn't know what the
Oh, I
department
see what
was
you're
going
saying.
to
He
do.
was in
with
So
it.
limbo. You was in limbo.
So you're at home and you're can't really relax because you're kind of like they might do something underhanded while I'm at home.
Right.
You know. So I get it.
I mean, I wasn't
So
worried
when you
about
come
them-
back, you know you're good.
Right. I
Right?
wasn't worried about them making stuff up or anything like that
Right.
because it's being investigated. But like you said earlier, that there's so many different policies and
Yeah.
procedures.
In regards to the shooting, thank you for sharing with us. I
welcome.
kind of want to touch upon PTSD. And it takes me back to the George Floyd incident time. And I could recall during that time, I kind of had like a kind of an interesting experience where I wanted to, because there was a bunch of shootings around my house at the time. Kind of a bad neighborhood, a lot of shootings. The George Floyd thing went down. There was rioting, bunch of shit going on. So
Yeah,
my mind was, my PTSD was activated. My mind was going in different directions. So I took it upon myself to run a night watch in front of my house on my days off. So basically, I had an AR-15. If you could picture this, me with an AR-15 in shorts in the middle of summer, from like.
What's in the shorts, bro?
So-
box.
Listen. From 10 o'clock p.m. to 6 o'clock a.m., I'm walking around my property with an AR-15, and people are like driving by, like, "What the fuck? Who is this guy?"
What is
Yes.
Hey,
I'm ready, man. I'm
so,
ready.
So what
I
he's
even
telling
chased-
us is, hang on, he did more work at home than he did at work.
Yes. Yes.
Listen, it got so bad, I even chased my family. I told them this weekend there's rioting. It's close by. They're going after cops. I said, I told my wife, go over to your mom's house, stay over there. And that one night, I could recall myself just literally lifting my AR-15 and aiming it and putting it down about 100 times that night through the window, just in case I had to fire upon people invading my house.
Were they out there, or you were just doing that?
No, I was just
shadows?
Just doing that.
I was just doing it to get ready because I'm like,
Okay.
I got to be ready. So, and
Shadows.
I literally slept with my gun right here. A couple of days later, a couple of friends from the police department came by, and they knocked on my door because they're like, "We haven't heard from you." And I took some time off too. It was like a week and a half. And they're like, "We haven't heard from you." And they came in. I was literally in my drawers with my AR-15.
Yes.
Right? Could you
I remember that. Yes.
Bro, it was mentally. I was
I
at a
can
bad.
safely say that I never did that.
I was at a
Yeah.
bad place mentally, and I even told my pastor at the time, and he actually joined me a couple nights. I told my neighborhood alderman, and he would pass by, and he's like, "You're all right, Fred?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good."
Hey, man.
So now, being that's open here, though,
Yeah.
do you think because right around then also there was an incident that you had been involved in?
That's right.
And
I
do you
think that precipitated that.
Well, it got brought up again several times in
Yes.
the area by certain.
You're absolutely
Aspect.
right.
We'll talk about that incident a little bit. It's okay.
Well, I wasn't there, so I don't know. I know it was
Yeah, I
put
wasn't
on the
either.
video. There was some squad cam footage or something, but you were making an arrest of some crazy guy, and
I'm trying
They-
to think. That incident was actually a while back, so I don't necessarily think.
No, but it was brought up.
Oh yeah, it was
It
brought
was
up.
brought up by the.
But it's always
Ralph
been brought.
and all those other
honestly, I
people.
don't think there. In my mind, it wasn't a nexus. In my mind, it was more the George Floyd thing, along with the rioting.
But wasn't
along
that
with?
making you think that you might be a target now because you're being put out front?
But they've always brought it up, so maybe subconsciously.
Yeah, but back then there was nothing
Yeah.
going on with the
Yeah.
riots, and they weren't targeting police officers and stuff. So
I don't know. I think I was more concerned about maybe people coming to my house and doing harm to me and my family at the time. So
yeah, well,
I think that's where
mean,
my
I'd have been
mindset was
paranoid
at.
about that if I
Yeah.
still had lived in an area where I worked, close to where I worked.
Yeah, and it was just a bad time for me. And you remember coming by? What'd you see? I mean,
Dude, you was walking your yard and your box with that freaking Doberman picture. That was crazy. I was like, Freddie? And he was like, yeah, you okay? Yeah.
in my
And I
mindset,
just kept walking. I was like,
my mindset was that somebody
Yeah.
comes here with a gun, I'm killing them.
Yeah.
But I was like, in my mind, I was like, I got to prepare myself to protect my family. But in reality, it wasn't that bad. My perception, like we were talking about perception before, my perception was not necessarily reality, but it was kind of a weird, funky, bad time.
It was distorted by the fact that you had the PTSD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Yes.
made
So it was
you-
bad, but it made it worse.
Well,
Right.
Yeah.
Because I can be honest with you, I mean, when you look at all the events that have happened, you know, George Floyd and all this other, all the other bullshit, you know, dude, when they was doing some serious rioting, and at that time I had moved to my new house, and it's right on Blue, so that whole strip mall, dude, they was turning out. They was turning
was
out
bad.
Popeyes. And so I had, I had all my
Sunset and Lewis area.
yeah. So dude, my wife was like,
Well, my wife was stupid.
yeah, my wife.
No. She can watch this, but
Yeah.
so she hears that there's stuff going on in Waukegan.
Yeah.
She hops in the car with my son to go check it out, thinking
Yeah.
that it's just,
My-
my
My wife.
and her car got hit by somebody, but
I told my wife
she couldn't
hey,
get out there
I
quick
told
enough.
my wife, my wife asked me, she said, "What are you doing?" I'm cleaning all my guns. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Have you not been keeping up on current events?"
Yeah.
And she was like, I said, "Most people in our neighborhood know that I'm a cop." I said, "I'm not," and there's like a sheriff that lives down the street from me. I said, "We're not, don't get the illusion that we're safe here. Because
Well,
we're not."
I mean, you got a little camouflage going
Yeah.
on, being that you're black, but but the bottom line is
but the
we're
bottom-
all blue.
But if you're blue,
And they
if you're
didn't
blue,
care. Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
No,
it's true.
You know,
And
you
the
know,
Actually, in some regard, if you're a black officer, you get it
You're
more
Uncle
from the
Tom.
black community.
You're
because
you're
they're like
Uncle Tom.
Yeah, Uncle Tom. Yeah,
but
I
I
hear
tell
that
you
a
know
lot.
what, though, guys, I was never there, like you guys with this George.
PTSD, you didn't really.
No, with that. I mean, like you said you were.
Yeah, I was at a
you
bad
know,
place, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know about Carl, but I was never there. I had no fear.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't. PTSD kicked in when I was in the service, 100%,
Yeah.
and even after. But
How so in the service then?
well, in the service, I was ready to kill someone
Okay.
after I was shot at.
Yeah.
You shoot at me, then it's
Right.
I'm going to defend myself.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So I felt that
Sound like Donkey Kong.
yeah, I was there
Absolutely.
yeah.
in the military. But as a cop, now don't get me wrong. When I'm chasing someone you don't know, like Carl incident, and we got into foot pursuit
All
of
the
us,
time.
Yes.
all the time,
time.
chasing guy with dope, with
We
whatever
get so
guns.
lucky that no
Yes.
officers. I mean, these guys really.
Yes.
Anytime, any one of them, most of them are running. They've got guns, and
You-
they could have shot you at any time.
Hey,
They
hey,
come
hey,
around the
George,
corner.
George,
Oh.
you know what this takes me? I'm sorry, and I know we got the podcast right here, but it takes me in my mind, me and you, we had a, it was this vehicle, we got in a vehicle pursuit, right? Because we had information of a stolen vehicle. And,
Oh, yeah.
and this vehicle came through, and the vehicle was crashing into fences, into cars, and we like, man, we gonna get this dude. So we're chasing him all through town, and all of a sudden the vehicle almost wrecks out like on a front porch. Person runs, person's in a hoodie, just sprinting. And we're chasing behind. George falls on the ground, he got his gun out, it's
Yeah.
tossing the ground. I jump over him because I see George like prone. Like, I'm like, what the fuck he's proned out for? But anyway, I jump over him. We finally, I tackled the person, and then I'm like, ah. All of a sudden I hear, ah. And then I'm like, ah. And I hear, ah. I'm like, man, this is like the, in my mind, like, this is the most feminine screaming for like a dude who's in a vehicle pursuit and just stole a car or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, lo and behold, when the dust settled, we got the person in cuffs.
It was a female.
It was a female.
Well,
And it was a young female at that.
hey,
You missed the good part.
hey,
Go ahead,
So-
George. George got something to add.
So-
to
hang
he
on,
forgot-
I couldn't
he
even
forgot-
give you a name. And
No,
I
no,
wasn't
don't give
even
us
there.
names.
No. I wasn't
No.
even there and know nothing about it. But if I was to guess who it was,
Um,
I probably
I'm
wouldn't
sure.
be too far
I'm
off.
sure. But go ahead, George.
He's right. I was chasing the person with my gun. I slipped. I fell. And I scraped my finger, one of them. And you know when you scrape back your nail.
All I know
Oh,
is George
yeah.
was like this.
Yes. This
I'm like,
guy-
man, I'm like, they got him.
Hey, he jumped over me, and then he caught the person, and then I got up and holster.
But at least he
And-
didn't have his finger on the trigger when
No,
he fell,
right, he did not,
and
right,
he
yeah,
was
he did
following
not.
the appropriate gun safety.
And sir, I don't know, because I know you've been on Midnights a long time, and I believe this was during my training period.
It was a rough era.
with the FTO that I had. Do you remember playing bumper cars down 41 towards Highland Park?
I never played bumper cars on
Wait,
41.
Well,
But-
we was chasing.
No,
the city.
no. That was different one. So
Okay.
this was when there was an officer at one of the local bars.
Yes.
And he was they were doing some drug
Yes.
thing or whatever. I was working shift, and the guy ran over the officer as he
Yes.
took off.
Hmm.
And so they started chasing, and I
Yes.
got in on the pursuit at number one there, so I was in the hot seat. I might add nobody else was behind me because they couldn't keep up, but that's, hey, whatever.
hey.
And so as I'm chasing this
Hey,
guy,
by the way, I want everyone to know Carl's not drinking. He's just naturally drunk.
so, yep, that is pure Coke Zero. So as I chased him up and down across
Yes.
main roads, this, that, the other, he was trying to circle area that he knew so he could bail
Yes.
and get to a house.
Yes.
So I was on his butt. But when we went down an alley, I mean, we're going pretty quick.
Yeah, I remember.
I was up on his bump, and we were going a little too fast. I was going to give him a pit, but in the alley, it was
What's a
too
pit?
tight.
Explain to everybody what a pit maneuver is.
It's where you basically give the rear bumper a nudge. to
And what
push it
happens
off.
when you do the pit
They're
maneuver?
normally spin out.
Yeah, because you know you're on a corner under a bumper. They
So
spin.
basically, you
Yeah.
hit the rear,
Yeah.
the
Right.
car spins
Well,
out.
you can do it by riding. So
That's
as I cut
right.
across one way or the other, but it was too tight back there, and I knew that. So in my mind, we're coming up to the next street from the alley, so we're in the middle of the block. So what I did was I said to myself, if he turns here, I knew he wasn't going because the next block was a T anyway. I said, so next time he makes a turn, I'm just going to hit him in that
Right,
rear corner, spin him around. So as we came out of the alley there, I hit him. I knew what I was doing, right?
Right.
I knew this was coming.
Right.
I could not believe. I hop out, so I'm doing this knowing that I'm hopping out of the car to run around to grab the guy. He's fucking gone. I'm like, where the fuck did he go? How did he get out so quick? I mean, this guy had hopped out. Now, I saw him. We chased after him. Later, we got him. Well, actually, it wasn't. He only got a block or so. Because
Yeah.
there were a lot of... The pursuit
Right.
went on for a long time. And there were a lot of our units.
Yeah.
The neighboring town
Yes.
units.
Yeah, yeah.
There
Yes.
was a ton, and he actually tried to hop a fence. And I think a dog got him. So, you
Yeah.
know, nice for him.
Hey,
No, it was the craziest.
But...
That was the crazy thing.
Yeah, the one of the responding officers too. The next one that got there, I said, he's running through that between there. He drove his squad right up through that person's
Hey,
yard.
you know another thing. You know what that reminds me of? I can't tell you how many times that officers, and I laugh, you know, right? But officers, when they're chasing somebody, how many people got bumped with the squad? Or got hit
Yes.
by the squad?
Yes.
Like
Hey.
that was kind of a maneuver, a law enforcement
Hey.
maneuver to
I
just
say-
kind of knock the guy down, right?
I saved, well, when the one, I can mention
No, no,
Kesky, but
no,
you can beep him if you want. But I'm just saying, he was in an incident. There was a person who murdered their mother. Didn't know it. She
Right,
wasn't
right.
necessarily dead, but we gone there for a stab-in.
Keep going.
Was the first responding officer, and as I'm pulling up, and he had said foot pursuit. We're northbound. He had a knife,
Yeah.
whatever. And
Keep
he
going.
kept. He said.
Keep going.
He said to himself. I'm sorry. He said over the radio that he has him in custody. God, what happened to silence?
Yeah,
I did mine, and I'm a guest.
Yeah, right
You're
here.
the professional host over there.
Go ahead. You got a lot of editing, bro.
So- oh, that's the stuff you leave. It's all golden.
oh,
That's
so
what
It's
people
all
want to
it's all
see.
good. It's all good.
Also fun.
But
But go ahead.
but when I got there, I just somebody told me that to keep going hard.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I did. And I was only a block or so away anyway. And as I turned and came onto the street, I saw the officer standing up, pushing the guy down, pulling out his weapon.
Wow.
The guy was trying to then get back up again. So as
Oh,
I
yeah.
pulled up,
Yes.
I knew what I was doing. I did it on purpose. I
Yeah,
pull
yeah.
up and hit him with the door
Yeah.
of my squad and
Yes.
knocked him on his ass.
Yes.
Then I hopped out, took him into custody. We detained him at that point. Now he was mentally.
Well, he was deranged. He was a
yeah,
murderer
no,
too.
No. I mean,
No,
it's a whole. That's a whole nother subject
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
the failure of our wonderful mental system, and
Yes.
because
Hey,
the mother
Freddie.
who
Yeah,
he
yeah.
ended up killing.
You remember one time, I'm pretty sure, I don't think you guys remember, me and Freddie was working, and we caught a guy, whatever the situation may be, and we cuffed him.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
hang
I
on.
had the
was
same
that
thing.
the guy who took his gun?
No,
No.
no,
Oh,
we
okay.
did that in another podcast.
This guy, bro, we cuffed him, and we like, sit down. Sit by the squad car. Jesus, bro.
So the guy, let me say my starter. So the guy is sitting down in cuffs.
In cuffs.
I'm in pretty good shape in those days.
Yeah, we were.
George
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
He gets up in cuffs and starts sprinting down the street, outrunning
the
us.
worst.
We're
no,
like, what
but
the
running fast.
man? And this guy's getting it in cuffs. Imagine trying to just sprinting.
Oh
in
yeah, and
cuffs.
keep you balanced,
I-
not fall over.
Right.
couldn't keep
Unbelievable.
up.
So we start looking for this guy because the whole thing. If this
Well, the
guy's
embarrassment is you got to get your cuffs back.
you got to get your cuffs, and then
Yes.
number two, you're responsible for whatever happens to this
Yes,
guy. 'cause
yes,
he's in your possession,
definitely.
your custody.
Yeah, if he gets hurt.
So we're looking for him. We're looking for him. We're looking for him. And it took like maybe about an hour and a half later, I catch this guy trying to climb a fence in cuffs. And
Say-
I'm like,
At
thinking,
this point, at least brought him in front.
no, he's literally trying to scale the fence while he's in cuffs.
In cuffs.
There's no way he can make it.
Nah.
So I'm like, oh, I got your ass now. This is my mentality. And I'm huffing and puffing because literally,
Yes, bro.
literally, we were looking for this guy for a while, and we were kind of embarrassed and everything. I literally go over the air, and I'm like, start me another one. This guy's going to get hurt. And that was the radio traffic.
Stop me another.
I heard the guy screaming because I was in the
So-
patrol car trying to find him.
So we have an old officer. I'm not gonna say his name, but we have an old officer who did the bond court in those days. He had to bring I'm not gonna go over the gory details, but we had an old officer who would bring the prisoners to bond court in those days. And literally, this guy,
He's retired
they
now.
they call this guy
Finally.
up. They call this guy up to go in front of the judge, and it took him literally like 15 minutes because he was in so much pain. And they actually had to escort him up there. But honestly, those were those days, and it was. Unfortunately, I know we can laugh and look back on it now.
Right.
It was unfortunately it was accepted practice in
Right.
those days.
But you forgot.
And
the good-
even to the extent the criminals also
Yeah,
accepted it as
back
well.
then.
Oh, yeah.
They knew it was coming.
Old school.
Yeah. But back then, what did the judge say to the officer? You forgot that
Oh
part?
yeah, go ahead. You say it.
The judge looked at the officer and said, "What happened to this guy? Look at him. What happened?" And the officer said, "I don't know. I just bring them up." To
I just transported him to
Yes.
Concord. Yeah. But it was.
Hey.
This is what.
I-
This
I-
was
I
how it went.
I would tell you that I used to hate when. So when I first got on the force, and I got with someone, I was stuck with first shift, and I had to transport for all you assholes on third shift because you guys. It used to be so funny because the guy was already jacked up, right? And so I would take him in bond court, and judge would sit there. I'm just transport, and that's the first thing I would say. I am just transport.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him the night before, and it was like that was his, and it was like I remember one judge and.
It wasn't one of George's arrests, though, because I think George was involved in it.
Pepper spray.
Pepper spray.
The king of pepper
No,
spray.
Yes.
no.
Yes.
And he was the phantom one. He would walk in
right.
while you're
Trust-
wrestling,
You're
Yeah.
right.
and then
Trust-
just disappear.
trust-
Drive, drive off spray.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Drive by
Drive-by.
spray. Drive by spray.
George was my training officer, so I know he was the pepper spray man.
Yeah.
But you know what, Smitty? With all that, you look at when we were there, it was accepted.
Yes,
It was
It
accepted
was.
practice.
All these criminals.
This is how we were trained, and,
But
and it wasn't racial. Like I said in another podcast,
knew.
we were trained by
Yes.
pretty much. It was predominantly black officers who trained.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. People don't realize our department was very diversified. Look at it. We're sitting here right
Yes.
now, the four of us.
Yes.
You're right.
You know, look at the descent
Yeah,
of
that's a good
all
point.
of us here.
But- but-
None of us are the same.
No, and then me and you worked in the same department. Same department,
But-
same area together.
But
Right.
no, guys, no. Now in today's,
Yes.
you do. Let's say we would do, or someone would.
Bro,
do
we would have been
what
indicted.
we did.
We said that.
The first thing, Carl, when they go, they don't want you. Like back in the days, rescue would do them. They want to go to bond court so they can get out.
Yeah.
Clear
Yes.
us out.
Yes.
Now they want to go to the hospital.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
They want to go to the hospital because they want to sue.
Yep.
It's so.
But now
fucking
you got to
different.
remember,
It's
though.
called the ghetto
Hang on,
lottery.
let's add a little clarity on there. There was no. Yes, we may have been kind of rough when taking
Aggressive.
people into custody.
Right.
But once they were in custody, there wasn't
Fights over
mistreatment.
it. Of course.
Right.
You know, it
Of
was
course.
during the process.
Actually, and Smitty would tell you, you guys know, I basically would. It's over, and now we
Yes.
could. It's almost like you ever see the coyote and the roadrunner,
Yes.
and you ever see the episode where they're punching in and punching out?
Yes.
That's how it was. It was
Yes.
like, hey man, it's
Carl,
nothing personal.
You know him.
Yes.
He will take someone down hard, stand them up, and brush them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give him a hug.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
I'm,
Hey, you want something to
I'm-
eat?
you
You
okay?
I'm with you. It's nothing
I
personal.
I mean, think about it.
But it worked.
We all work together, right? And everybody will say,
well, if you want to call it work, I don't think you ever did any, but that's okay.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, you line them up. I'm gonna
Zingers
take
in the
shot.
podcast.
Shots fired.
hey, you try dealing with those juveniles.
Now, you know what?
Yeah, that was a headache.
That was a beautiful thing. I never, even though once it became mandatory, I was well versed at dealing with juveniles if I had to.
You
But
didn't
I
want
never
to.
took
You
the
didn't want
school.
to.
No, heck no.
Nobody wanted to.
Nobody
No.
wanted to. You know what? Everybody said, and you know, I said this on another podcast. I said, you know, my wife never understood that when we got called in, it wasn't necessarily on a juvenile state. It was like on a homicide. We all got called in.
Right.
And my wife would say, why are you getting called in? You juvenile.
You get
When-
double
when
duty.
it's a homicide,
Well, they don't even have a juvenile detectives anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
But before then,
But before it was almost double duty.
Right.
You get
Right.
called in
Yeah,
for all the
that's what I
juvenile
said.
and
Right.
for
I
said-
homicides. Yeah.
when it's
Okay.
homicide, it's all hands on deck. And she's like,
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Why? How come juveniles like such a kind of like? Most officers are
Well-
like, I don't want to deal with that.
okay, you want to start?
Well, I was just about to say, there's just so much more. It's a different way to process for the arresting, the taking.
More rules, right? More rules.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They-
Yeah.
they just- when it comes to juveniles, they have their own set of rights.
You can't talk to them without their parent. Their mom is out partying.
Or their advocate.
Well, no.
You know?
No, they can choose to.
They can choose to, but here's the thing.
We have to put someone in there,
As a juvenile officer, you have to be the advocate.
right? So that we have to provide some. Yeah, you're on.
All right. Carl, you are an interesting person as an officer, but I think off duty as well. But I want to talk a little bit about your background.
Okay.
You came here from England, and if you could explain that a little to our audience.
So when I did a mechanical apprenticeship back in England, it's a 4-year thing. But also we finished high school at 16 there.
That's because you guys are smart.
No, we just don't baby our kids and give
Oh.
them 6 months off
Oh,
a
yeah,
year.
just that.
You know.
All right. So
We-
wait a minute. Let him go just back. Go ahead.
So now you got me cracking up here. So when I finished my apprenticeship, the company that I worked for was downsizing, and they weren't actually keeping us on afterwards. So, and my dad had just came over to America, started working for a guy over here, brought some equipment. He was in engineering, which was what I had done. So I came over here and worked with them. And then I came and met my wife. I was 20 at the time when I first came over here. That was crazy. I came over here not being able to frickin' drink. I go out drinking all the time in England since I was.
You could drink over there as a minor.
Well, yeah. Well,
Right?
what's a minor?
I mean, what's considered our minor? Here?
Yes. So here's 21. In England, it's 18.
Ah.
But it was, at the time I was there, we didn't even have picture IDs.
Wow.
So as long as you kind of looked close to it, they didn't care.
Was there a little culture shock coming from England to here?
Not too much, because so the good thing is, and I think it's more the other way around, because of the fact that, however, though, nowadays with all these dang apps for TVs and stuff, you get all the English shows too. But when I was growing up, all Americans.
Benny Hill.
Yeah, well, there you go.
The Benny Hill Show.
Yes.
So
He was good.
He was great.
So, but you growing up, I watched every good movie made was American or whatever. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like I didn't know a lot of what
So,
the idiosyncrasies of the culture.
so how did you get here? You flew here, or you came on a boat?
I swam.
So you were a migrant.
I am a migrant.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, so am I.
I'm a
That's
legal
right. Yeah, yeah.
immigrant.
So
Whoa,
am I.
whoa. We use that word.
I'm a legal
Illegal.
immigrant. No, I didn't say
Legal.
illegal.
Legal.
I said legal.
Legal.
So
Hey.
my parent, the way it worked was,
Yes.
my parents, and so that's actually a good part. The fact that you're not considered an adult, but I'm still a dependent of my parents until you're 21 here. But because of that, I was able to come over here on my dad's and my mom and dad, right? On his right, because he was
Yeah.
green card and all of
Yes.
that. So I actually was able to come as a dependent. So now my older brother, though, who he was older than 21. At the time, he wasn't planning on leaving England, but things in his personal life changed, and then he ended up coming over here too. But because of his job, he actually got a job with a company here that paid for him to come over, and then he did it all by himself, basically.
Yeah. This was back in the 70s or 80s.
Dude, how old do you think I am? This is back in the
Hey,
90s.
Hey, Carl,
90s,
Carl,
okay.
you pretty old, bruh. I mean,
Hey, I got.
It was early 90s.
Listen,
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I got things come in my head, and I got to get it out because I won't if I wait. So I got a funny Carl story. So Carl's like a walking podcast, right? So whatever Carl could just. He could have conversation for hours, and he's a great guy.
Mostly with
But
myself.
but I was his supervisor for a
Yes.
while, and I could recall some times where I'm on third shift, and I'm in the office, and I'm typing away. I'm trying to get all my paperwork done. Carl will come in, and literally, I will see him, and Carl will start kind of like an argument with himself. He'd walk into the office. Listen,
I just said
he'd walk into the office like at 2 a.m, and I'm thinking, what does Carl want? What's going on? But he would start talking to himself, and then he started an argument with himself, and then he'd resolve it himself without me saying a word. And I'm just kind of acknowledging him, and then he'd walk out the office.
yeah.
Just like,
Yeah, he was a different character, bro. You're
So,
right.
love him though, love him.
It's called figuring things out. I mean, and
Yeah.
you know, you're what would you call it? You're fact checking stuff. You're just
Yes.
In your
I
mind,
can have
in
it-
your mind, and
in
out
your
loud,
mind.
out loud, and in your
But you
mind.
know-
Now the biggest now however that you go back to the culture of things.
Yes.
I think that was an aspect that people had a hard time with here.
With you?
Yes, I would have
How
an
so?
argument with somebody,
Yes.
and I really wasn't having an argument.
They would take it personal.
They would.
Yes.
They wouldn't understand. They would get to that point maybe
Yes.
because they couldn't understand where I was going. I mean, I was literally supporting their theories at some of the time.
Yes.
And they were getting mad at me. I'm like,
Yes.
dude, I'm with you.
How did it affect your law enforcement career? I know it's a broad statement. Coming from England and having a diverse background and coming here to the United States, how did it affect your law enforcement career in the beginning, in the middle, and towards the end?
So to start with, I think it affected me in that one of the biggest things was there were certain cliques. And like, for instance, the SWAT team. I never made it to the SWAT team the first time because they didn't want me. I passed all their tests and everything, but when they do their vote,
They didn't want you because they felt like you were the different guy from England.
I was not a part of their clique. I was a little too goody two shoes by the book type thing, so they thought.
Right.
They thought I might snitch or whatever, or not.
Gotcha.
Not,
But it had nothing to do with your background, though, right? Or you
well,
think
it may have.
might
It
might
may
have
be
been.
more
It might
me,
have been.
but that
But-
just not knowing.
But you know what? With Carl, this guy is a guy, and I'm not saying this because of we retired, but he was very dependable. I'll tell you what. Whatever Carl do, he followed it through.
Yes.
That's
He
good.
I'm
did.
telling you, to his credit, if he's following a domestic, whatever, he's gonna see through.
Yeah.
Not
all
like
the way. All
Yes.
all the way. I don't
point.
have to worry. Not like some of these guys that are still working.
Yeah.
What?
That,
Well, there ain't too many left now. The average seniority. I was talking to one of the guys on Midnights now, no names. He was now one of the guys left and came back. So if we didn't count him, so there's 10 guys on the midnight shifts on the patrol, and the other 9 didn't add up to the number of years that this guy had.
Hey, Carl, hold up. I can name 3 people that are still there. I hope they don't watch this podcast.
I hope they
Don't
do.
name 'em.
I hope they do.
Yeah, you need the followers.
I hope
3
they do.
people that will never reach. Let's say I give you from 1 to 10. You're 10. They will not reach 5.
Oh, well,
They
yeah.
will not follow. They'll go
Hey,
there. Excuse me.
Oh, that's if they're not trying to purposely blow it off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't even want to do a report.
Right.
First of all, which is wrong.
I was a firm believer in that. Yes, how many times did we hear, "I pay your salary, you do what I
Yes.
work for"? Okay.
Yes.
But ultimately, I also understood that I worked for the citizens of the community.
Yes.
Right.
And I didn't work for the mayor and so on. Technically,
Right.
I mean, technically I did, but if in theory, it was I worked for the public.
No, Carl. These guys might not want to say it. You have always been a pain in the ass. Listen to me.
I know.
You're
I
pain
would
in
say-
the ass.
Hey, I would say
But
it.
you know what? You do your fucking job.
Yeah, that's a
Hey,
good point. That's a good point.
Telling you,
Yeah, yeah.
bro.
I would honestly
From
say.
me to you.
I want to say.
But that was
this.
part of the click thing at the
Yes.
start.
I would
Because
honestly
I
say
wanted to
this.
do my job and make other people. So I worked. Hang on one second. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Smitty.
go ahead,
So
go
I was
ahead.
working midnights for the first 8 years of my career there. I got told I was going out to do parking tickets, and I numerous times got told, "Get off the radio. We're trying to sleep."
Yes.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
I-
I didn't
I-
hear that one.
Yeah.
I will say this
But you're right.
about
You were.
Carl. Me and Carl bump heads. We did.
I bumped heads with everybody.
We bumped heads, but it wasn't no different, right? You're right. You bump heads
Wasn't
with
personal.
everybody.
Wasn't
It wasn't
personal.
It wasn't personal.
Yeah.
No.
And my thing was, I still learned a lot from Carl. I did.
Thank you.
This guy was, when it came to, like, when we was in investigations together, this guy was the computer guy. We knew that, hey, if you needed some stuff copied or whatever, you go to Carl because he knew how to get it.
I think Carl as an individual, maybe I'm wrong, Smitty.
Yeah.
He tried to take everything on.
Yeah,
I
he
did.
did.
Carl,
He
because
did.
you were on the
He did.
you were doing the what the little
He
thing
was
up
doing
there?
MCAT.
Yeah.
He was doing.
I
he was doing
100%.
everything.
I
Yes.
noticed that and I definitely felt in my last little stint in the bureau.
Yes.
And that's in the end when I went off on him and told him I'll go back to patrol.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't handle the laziness from the guys I worked with.
Wow.
Some of them took it offensively.
But-
I was.
Oh, you're right.
But he-
You're right. There's some of them.
They
that-
looked at first off when I first said it. A couple of them looked at me like, "What did he just say?"
But Carl
And-
wasn't lazy though.
I'm-
He wasn't lazy.
No, he's
But I'm
active.
just saying,
was
it
not
wasn't
lazy.
about. Just do your jobs.
And that was the thing. I respected you more, regardless of whatever bumping heads we did. And we did more bumping heads on patrol than we did in the bureau.
I don't remember us bumping that much.
But I'm saying there was a couple
We didn't
times-
bump uglies, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But, hey.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
But you know, there was a couple of times that, you know, like I said, in the bureau, I would come to you because I knew that, hey, he knew exactly what I needed to try to get done.
Well, it should be a teamwork.
Funny,
Yeah,
funny,
it was
funny
teamwork.
Carl Stork. Funny Carl
That's
Stork.
what I always tried to promote was
I had
work
no problem
together.
with
Yeah, funny story. So I remember being his supervisor initially, and I remember him. He was on the department, maybe I don't know, maybe a year or so, relatively new, and he, you know, comes from England, different type guy, at least in the community we worked at.
Bloke.
Yeah, he's a bloke from England. So we had a call.
Cross the pond.
we had a fight at a gas station, a local gas station.
Oh, here we go.
And it was probably like 100, 150 people out
Yes,
there. Maybe
back
maybe
then,
maybe
bro.
less.
Crazy.
And we're trying to hold everyone back and keep the peace and everything.
No.
Listen,
That's
but
not what happened, though.
let me say what
I was by
thought.
myself.
He was by himself. So he basically came over to air, and he called out. And he says, "Sarge," and he had a stronger
You
accent
weren't
than
my
what he does.
supervisor.
No, I wasn't.
No, it's
Don't say it.
Yeah. So he had a strong accent at the time, more stronger than what it is now. And he says, "Sarge, they're not listening to me."
Yes.
But now let me tell you. Now let me tell you.
And I love it.
So-
You're going to hear his perspective. Of
So that night, I'd actually also worked at another department before coming here. So
Yes.
I had seen how some things were done a little differently, even though it was a similar type community, but it was still a little more professional. Anyway, but it didn't get the job done sometimes. You've got to get
Yeah.
dirty to get the job done.
I totally
Absolutely.
agree.
So
Absolutely.
the call was as usual. After the bars started closing, they'd go hang out at the dang and
Yes.
continue to party at the gas stations. And one of the officers, who happened to be then it was the one that actually ended up getting promoted and was my supervisor the night of the shooting. Anyway, he stopped a guy there with a gun. He had him on the car, started patting him down. The guy took off on him. Everyone chased him into the little wooded area next to him, and had the guy cornered there. But now that left me, because everybody else was dealing with this, to
Right.
deal with this crowd. And I started with, "Sir, ma'am, please, you need to leave. You need to go." And
You had to get ghetto on him.
so people looked at
But
me.
you didn't know that when you first came on.
Well,
right?
yes and no. I was asking permission when I got on that radio.
Yes.
So when
Yes.
when I'm talking to them, they were, "Fuck you," and
Yes.
just carrying on with their shit. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm willing to do more stuff, but I just wanted to make sure it's okay.
Right.
Right.
So at that point, I got on the radio and said, "Hey, Sarge, they're not listening to me.
How'd you say it though, back then?
Sarge, they're not listening to me." With a little bit of
I was like,
frustration.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he really
Yeah.
just say that? Yeah. Okay. So when he got back to me, he goes, "We're tied up. You got to do what you got to do."
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
all I
yeah,
needed.
yeah.
So
That's
as
awesome.
soon as that happened, I then
Sprayed him.
I took my pepper spray out of my. No, I didn't need to, George. I didn't do you. I took it out. I walked right into the middle of the group. Well, beep the name. You got to leave the tumbleweeds, because when the girls get to fighting and they hear things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'll say it for you. Don't worry about it.
yeah. So we come out, and I walked right in the middle of everybody, and I said, "You got to get the fuck out of here right now and leave." I'm sorry, Mike. I probably just
No,
blew
no,
his
no. You're
eardrums.
good.
Get
You're
the
good.
fuck out of here. I'm just gonna spray everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody now turned and looked at me with a whole new different respect. They stopped hopping in their cars, and everybody left.
You know, I was talking to someone about this earlier today, before the podcast, and we were talking about how, like, in the community we worked at, you could be as professional as you can be as an officer, but sometimes it would not register. And we were talking about the we were talking to reasons. Listen. We were talking to reasons why it didn't register. And I'm from one of the communities, right? I grew up Puerto Rican black community.
You're Puerto Rican. I thought
lower,
you were white.
lower
You're
income.
whiter than me.
Listen, lower income community. But what happens is, and this is just my theory, a lot of times the kids in that community, they're raised by a single mom, and they face a lot of trauma, right?
Right.
So they're getting sometimes beat by their parents. Sometimes they're getting beat by an uncle, sexually abused, all types of just bullshit going on. So a
Right.
lot of times they understand, unfortunately, some people understand from those communities, because they came up with that trauma, they understand violence and they understand ghetto. But
Right.
when you're coming at them, you're coming at someone and you're like, sir, ma'am. They're like, man, get the fuck out of here.
Yes.
Right.
So,
They
but
did-
then when you
Yes.
bring it up to the ghetto-ness, like, I need you to fucking do it now.
Yes.
Now something in their mind
That's what
clicks
they-
and
yes.
registers,
Yes,
right?
true,
And
Freddie.
you may some of them may fight, but a lot of times they'll be like, okay, now I understand that. I understand what he needs.
Right.
Am I right? I mean,
100%.
Yeah.
tell me.
You're right.
But here's
People
the
don't
thing.
want to admit to the
They don't wanna
social-
admit that.
It's a social cultural thing.
Right.
that-
Exactly. But here's the problem, and I will say this: they automatically assume that if a white person or a person that's non-colored is being racist.
Right.
That's
Right.
more nowadays, though.
But
Yeah,
right,
it
more
is
not
more
now.
now.
But
But it's
when I
more
first
not now.
started-
But I'm saying,
They just thought I was a crazy white dude. I
Right.
don't know what the fuck's going on
Right.
with this guy. I better get out of here.
But if you look at it, even in the schools, you go to
Yeah.
the school, the
Yeah.
high school, and
Yeah.
you get the same feedback that they don't, like Freddie said, they don't listen. And
Right.
you got to put your foot down
Yeah.
to say, like, what the fuck are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah.
you,
That's what they
There's
understand.
something that clicks because
It
Right.
they come, whether it's white, black, or Hispanic, from a lower
Exactly.
socioeconomic community, they come from a lot of trauma, and something clicks in their mind to like, they're like, okay, I get what, now I get
but,
it.
but I would tell you this though. I got more response if a person made me cuss at them
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
than if I said,
100%.
sir, ma'am,
Yeah.
or any of those.
But
that's
you can't.
why-
But you can't go about that type of policing now.
No.
no.
So
You're right. You're right.
We-
that's
now.
why I
We
said
won't
that
survive.
with my body camera.
Yeah.
I've always said
Yeah.
I love body cameras. The only thing it's going to catch me doing wrong is cussing at people.
Yes.
Because I'll cuss up and down the
Carl?
night, and
Yes.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and you're absolutely 100%
I
right.
would get days. You
But
would
no,
get
no.
days.
But listen. I know what you're saying, and you're not necessarily wrong. I cuss at a lot of people, but I think if you happen to get into a shooting incident, if you happen to get into a use of force situation where there's a complaint, and then an independent entity or even someone FOIAs it and gets those videos, and they see you cussing at someone the way we all used to.
Yeah.
You could find yourself in a just a barrel of
But-
shit.
but-
I know it doesn't give a good perspective to the
yeah.
But-
average person.
well, I'm saying in addition to
Freddie?
use of force with it.
But when we
Now, if
ask
you're
the-
just doing it, well, you
But-
still could get in trouble. Even,
But when we
without
ask
use
this
of
question,
force.
this is for the whole panel. When we ask the question, why should it make a difference? If you've done everything you possibly could have done, right, to minimize the situation, and you're still forced to talk like them because that's the only way they understand you,
I,
then why?
Because the
then
court,
why?
the court
No,
of
it's
public opinion.
opinion.
Not
Oh,
the
Well, I was
court.
just about to say though, it shouldn't make a difference if you have a muted,
Okay.
just video on something that
Okay.
shows something that happened, and
Okay.
then you play the sound later and
Okay.
find out that the officer's saying "fuck you, I'll fucking kill you if you move." You cleared him on the visual aspect of it because it was a legitimate shoot.
Sure.
But then on the other side of
But-
it,
Like, wait a minute, he pre-planned this.
But
Yeah.
no. But if
right.
if
You're right.
that came after the fact, the officers have done everything they have done.
You're right.
Sir, ma'am, this, that, right? To keep it at some point, when you're not human.
Well,
when?
my other
when?
thing is,
when are you not human?
right, but I used to watch some of the, so when officers got injured or safety things, I was on the safety board, so I
Okay.
reviewed
You-
body
you-
camera
hey, that's
stuff.
who you was.
Yeah,
right.
I reviewed body cameras of the incidences, and the shame of it was, and now this one I definitely won't mention names.
Yes.
But I watched several of the body camera videos, and after the fact, it's like I just flat out saw officers that weren't getting involved. They wouldn't. They let the other officer end up fighting. Now
yes.
it's
You're
better.
right.
That's
Now
terrible.
I'm not talking a pig pile. You know, those are stupid. You got to
Right.
be But if 2 or 3 people are tackling and taking someone into
It's all
custody,
about the numbers, man.
bingo.
You know, it just-
you know, I now obviously you got to have someone covering or whatever, but when you've got people there just watching,
Yeah, it makes no sense.
you know,
That's horrible.
Yeah, and I agree with you there.
you look at some of the shootings
Yes.
on the videos that they show as white off. Yes, it looked like to me a lot of the time.
Well, don't get me wrong. If you have a guy who's out on some reckless shit, an officer, you know, maybe some officer like, I'm not doing all that bullshit. I get that.
No. I mean, it was a legitimate
No,
arrest,
yeah,
a
there's-
legitimate, but they
So-
just don't want to go
that's
hands on
terrible. That's
because
terrible.
they're afraid.
You had an
you
incident.
know-
You had an
Afraid of
incident
it.
like that. You had an
Oh,
incident.
way
where you-
back? Yeah, when I first started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had me and my FTO at the time got in. There was 3 people, and we were fighting people, and I had a canine officer that just stood right there and looked. That affected me coming in.
How do you handle that?
I'm training. I
Right.
can't, you know. I mean, my FTO was like, damn, fuck that shit, da 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 da. But it's up to him to say. I'm in training.
Did anyone ever approach that officer later on and
Oh,
kind of
I
confront?
did.
And what did he
did
tell you? What was
as
his
I-
reason for not getting involved?
Man, he never got involved.
Was he too busy punching a gorilla?
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was my guess.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Hey,
God.
Hey.
Oh.
But all right. I went.
Yeah, okay.
I
Yeah.
got into another incident. So and it's so funny about racial and color and everything. So I was a sergeant at the time. So 2 officers called me over at the public library. There was a female in a car, and they're like, Sarge, you know, da 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 da. She don't want to leave. Blah 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 blah. Blah. And I think they were, I'm pretty sure they were white officers. And I went to the car and I laid it roll down her window and I had a nice conversation with her, like something Freddie would do, and talked to her. I think she was.
Nice conversation.
I think she was kind of off.
She got to see the kindler, gentler.
Yes, I think. But you see, you can't have.
Mental health is
Yes,
a bitch.
mental health.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. And she's like, da, da, da. I said, well, can you just leave? Blah, 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 blah. George, you know, being nice. And we followed her out of the city. We wanted her
Out of the city.
out of the city.
100%. I can name
Edwin, I
and
gotta go
point
to the
out
bathroom, bro.
officers that
Edwin, I gotta go.
escalate,
You know.
escalate
All right,
a
but-
situation. All right. In response to what you were saying there, George, in regards to the officers, I've said that some of the officers, they may not have purposely did it, but they escalate a situation because
Yes.
they're hyper when they go in.
No doubt.
They're pumped up. They
Yeah.
think that you've got to do what.
Yeah.
Now the public look at it as that's just they're an
Yeah,
asshole.
that's a great
You're right.
point.
The officers are sometimes scared. They're not, and they're not going to say.
Sometimes it's not what
right.
you say; it's your body language.
Right.
Like if
He's
you're looking
right.
down on
And-
someone or you come aggressively,
and they
yeah.
don't understand that sometimes you catch more bees with honey or flies with honey than
a good
shit
point.
or whatever it is.
Verbal judo. He's right, though.
Yeah.
Some
But-
the new officers, they go in differently, aggressively. And then a person like, well, fuck you.
Yeah, who
But-
you talking
but-
to?
Yeah.
yeah.
You
But,
know,
but why do you think the officers feel that way, though?
Well, this
Could be fear.
inexperience.
It could be
bingo.
inexperience. It could be fear.
Age. Now they've said that after the Floyd things and everything went on, and they wanted to reform policing with all this other crap. The biggest thing I felt, now granted we have a hard time doing it, was raising the minimum age, giving someone some life experience before they become a cop.
I agree, but you're not going to have enough applicants.
That's the only.
yeah.
That's the only.
That's
side
the
effect.
drawback. That's-
yeah.
But if someone has some life experience out in the real world, having a job, not either straight through college or straight through the military.
I totally
You
agree
know
with
what,
you.
Carl? I just met an officer today.
You got pulled over for something?
No, no, but very soft, and you know what I mean.
I know what you said.
I can't elaborate.
You're talking about the person's presence.
You got to have. Listen, police is not designed for everyone.
But
You got to have command presence.
No. But
But-
I'm saying you've got to know more of when to turn it on and off.
I agree.
That's not a question of having. So I've got to ultimately, I'm always in charge of a situation.
Of course.
But whether I'm doing it verbally or in a get on the ground right now in an authoritative way.
So there's a
or-
time and place to be an asshole and to be assertive.
So-
but
And you've got to be able to recognize when they have these mental issues, because
Yeah.
or sometimes there's one statement that I found to be true always. It's funny. You can never reason with a drunk. So someone who's drunk, it don't matter what you can sit. And I have watched people sit there with that person and try to
Yeah.
talk them to do something for them.
Right.
Where ultimately, now I'm just going to be the straight up asshole. I'll walk over there. I'm not dealing with this no more. Stop
sometimes,
telling you have a nice day.
sometimes though,
You just got to know when to
listen.
use
You
it.
know what I see a
Yes.
problem tactically. Sometimes, like you got these young officers and they're coming out
Modern
of the
policing.
academy. They're coming out of the academy and they're giving criminals too much time to think.
Yes.
When they
Absolutely.
should be taking assertive action or assertive force.
Yep.
If you give someone too much time to think, they're going to think of a plan either to get away or to fight you or to harm you.
100%.
But is there a balance between the two?
There is a balance.
So yeah, but it's like I said, you got to be able to recognize it earlier in the conversation.
So-
You got to be able to.
So, Carl, why are we getting? I don't know the percentage, but why are we getting a lot of officers that don't have what you said? They just want to be a cop.
Because some of them don't. Well, we're not all built the same.
Yes,
We don't all have the same
S-
mental
but yet
capacities.
we're getting weak applicants.
But the other thing
Well,
is
it's
too.
a different generation that's applying.
A
like,
lot
so-
of this
so-
stuff can't be taught.
Yeah.
The only way you learn is from life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't teach you how to be.
I can't teach you to be
Okay.
have courage or to be brave
Yes.
in
Okay.
high crisis
Well,
situations.
yes.
Let me ask-
Either you got it
Or you
or
don't.
Or you
don't.
don't.
Okay. So from a different background, all right, military background, electrician background.
But that's blue collar.
No,
Similar.
well, hold on. But if you're coming from that type of background, coming in and you're being a law enforcement,
So
how does that change for you, and how do you project that onto somebody else?
So I never. Right. So military though was an option in England when I grew up. I thought about being in the military.
Okay.
It was on my list of careers. I ended up getting the first choice, which was my apprenticeship and going following in my dad's footsteps.
Okay.
But so I've always had respect and in my mind I've always wanted to play soldier or play police, be that guy that's out there,
Okay.
save the day, you know what I mean? And I guess that's kind of why I also, when you were talking about I'm going to follow it through, because I want to solve the problem. I want to get I don't like not having a conclusion. I hate, that's
Right.
OCD in me, I guess.
Right.
I mean, I just, so, but as far as not being military, I had a discussion with somebody about promotions. People are aware, but you get bonus points if you were in the military
Yes.
for promotional process.
Yes, you do.
And
Yes.
I've got nothing against that for getting in as being a police officer.
Okay.
Gives you an advantage over the other person because
Okay.
A, we're trying to reintegrate someone who's came out the military and maybe suffering a little bit, so they need to get some training, but or into a job and a career. But once you've got into the position and you're there, policing is not military. Now, the old days, maybe they felt with the whole paramilitary structure of it and stuff, that's long gone. And,
Right.
And not all. Okay. So they say they're natural leaders in the military, right? Well, I had this now I'm going to be the bad guy here.
No, no.
But I've always said that no, because the military trains you all to be followers in general. They don't want people all making their own decisions.
That's true.
Otherwise,
Well,
when I tell you
extent.
to go over that
Yes.
hill, they're all going to say, "Whoa, hang on a minute! I don't think that's the best thing. I didn't go in that way." So
Well,
one's gonna
the military does brainwash you to be a leader, but
follower
to be a follower
of leaders.
of leaders. There you go. Yeah, you're right. Because if you got to give someone a command, they have to do it and
Yes.
do it now.
No,
Right.
There's
you're
no.
absolutely
You
correct.
don't even think about it.
No.
Just
Yes.
do it,
And that
get
goes
into
back
it.
to
Let's
that
get it
time
done.
thing that we have an issue with now is
Yes.
that people are thinking too much about it. I've watched some of these videos that they post online from body cams and all of this, or certain incidences. I watched the one. Now, I think this would be okay to say. It was all over the TV. But you
Yeah.
had that incident in Kenosha where the guy ended up getting paralyzed.
Yes.
Shot by the officer.
Yes.
What I felt was the most egregious thing of that is if prior to him, the fighting with the one officer, getting up, then going around, yes, he had a knife, and I don't have enough details to say whether or not I would have pulled the trigger in those circumstances in the
Right.
end, but it could have all been stopped. When they're wrestling on the ground, they get up, they run past the two other officers that
That's
are
correct.
standing
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
Yes.
watching. And
Yes.
if they had just helped take him into custody
Right.
right then and there,
That would stop all of that.
Absolutely.
if you watch the
Assertive
officer,
force.
if you watch the officer that ended up pulling the trigger, he actually looks at them as he's going around the front of the car
Like
on the
almost-
one video.
almost pleading, "Are you
what
gonna
the
help
fuck
me?"
Are you doing?
You,
Why can't we?
Hey,
have
thank you for joining us for today's podcast. We look forward to the next one. And we special thanks to our guest, Carl.
Yes.
It was great experiences that he shared with us about his incidents and his perspective on the police department. Thank you.
Cheers.
5-0.
Bravo!